freaking first cut. Golly.
What's going on, YouTube? Halfway point at the Charles Schwab Challenge. We'll talk all about day 2 and look forward to the weekend. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed. We'll jump into it right now. Welcome to the First Cut Podcast. I'm Rick Gehman. That right there is the coach. And coach, all day long, we were waiting for that. We were waiting for that list. Who's going to play in London? Who's going to the Live Golf Invitational? They promised us it'd come on Friday. Never happened.
Yeah, Greg Norman's doing a lot of talking, and so far, nothing's come out of it. We hear about all these players, nothing. We hear about all of this interest, which I'm sure they are. I'm sure there's a bunch of Korn Ferry Tour players or less, meaning that level, that would love to play for $5 million. But at this point, it's all about talk. And I'm telling you right now, after being on site last week, Rick, the players are ready for this to be over. And the fact that we didn't announce it today, we've got to wait another few days. I don't know why. I don't know what the holdup is, but we're talking what are we, 10 days away? 9 days, I guess, technically until the start of the week. So, and we still don't know anything.
I didn't even think of it.
Right?
June feels a long way away. It is not, I can assure you.
Right. It's I'm literally going to England next week. I'm going to England next week. And I'll be able to get a feel over there what they feel about this. But right now, I've heard nothing. And so I don't even know why we have to talk about it. They're making us talk about it more, which I don't like.
Yeah, we'll obviously keep an eye out for that. Coach, here stateside on the PGA Tour, the year of Scotty Scheffler rolls on. He opened up on Thursday with a bogey-free 66. He followed that up on Friday with a bogey-free 65. He just continues to roll. He's the favorite to win this Charles Schwab Challenge. He is atop the leaderboard with Beau Hossler and Scott Stallings at 9 under par.
Well, you don't think they have the equal odds to win this weekend that Scotty Scheffler does? What are you talking about, Rick? I don't even know what you're talking about. Here's the deal. I believe somebody, and I can't remember who it was, said on a show called First Cut that part of the reason Scotty Scheffler got so upset last week is he had so much pressure on him to continue to win the 2 majors. And I said that maybe that's what he needed to release the pressure and get right back to his great playing ways. And that's exactly what he's done through 2 days. A nice little 65 today while he watched the PGA champion playing with him absolutely blow up. Scotty Scheffler, I'm becoming an absolute believer, because what I see when he's out there playing, Rick, is I see somebody wants to step on your neck, and I talk about it all the time, and he wants to stay there and then tell you, God bless you, after he steps off your neck and walks and gets his next trophy. And that's the type of player that I love, and that's who Scotty Scheffler is.
What I find most fascinating about Scotty Scheffler is, one, he's like a nice guy off the golf course, but he's not necessarily very nice on the golf course. And it's hard for me to even define what the best attribute of his game is, Coach, because some weeks he's the best short game player on the planet. Other weeks he drives it better than anybody in the field. And then the next week he's stuffing everything to 5 feet. He's just so well-rounded that it's almost a shock when he's not in the mix.
And what's crazy is that I think we all have to get past, including myself, his unorthodox swing and the footwork and all that, because every story you hear is about how for the last 10 years he's been taking everybody's money in side games. He's been blowing everybody out over here, over there, and he done it that way, just like Matthew Wolff, just like all these other guys, Jim Furyk. This is who Scotty Scheffler is. And to your point, sometimes some of his game might be off, but the other part of his game is on. And I think that's why he clearly is right now. And it's not close. And Ron will be ticked when you hear somebody say this. JT, Spieth, all of them. But Scheffler is by far the best player in the world right now.
One shot back by himself in solo fourth is Patrick Reed, Coach. That's a name that has obviously been the topic of many a conversation over in the world of golf over the past couple of years. He's won plenty of events. He's got a Masters win on the resume as well, but he's been basically non-existent in 2022. He has not played well. He hasn't seen the top of the leaderboard. Here he is in the mix. Do you think he can kind of summon something a little bit now that he's in the heat of the battle? He knows what it feels like. What do you think his staying power is?
I think this week it's very, very good, because this is the type of course where he can excel. I think we've seen a lot of the courses lengthen themselves out, and the different courses he's not particularly really good on. I think at this course where it's a lot of moving the ball around, he's been trying for 2 years, Rick. I've seen it out on the range, the few tournaments that I've been at, and he's trying to force a fade. And sometimes when you're trying to force one side of the golf course, when your natural ball shape is a right to left, it can cause you to struggle for an extended period of time. He may be coming out of that now because he's playing a course this week that is about position and not about length. And I think that's perfect for somebody trying to get out of a slump.
Yeah, knowing how to take advantage of Colonial is certainly something that Jordan Spieth has done over the years, Coach. It was a 4 under 66 on Friday. It was indeed bogey-free, but if you were watching every shot, it certainly didn't look easy. Every time I turned to the television, he was in the trees arguing with Michael Greller about whether he could extract himself from the position that he had gotten stuck in. He was able to, spoiler alert, but that was the kind of day it was for Jordan Spieth.
It's not going to be very long before you're going to be a part of the PGA Tour Live family, just like I am. And you're going to be calling Jordan Spieth. And you're going to be calling Jordan on morning rounds like today, where the only place that you can see him is on PGA Tour Live. And you're going to realize what I typed yesterday that everybody took out of context when I said a 69 from Jordan is not the same as a 69 from somebody else. And I was basing it off of the conversation that went viral with Jordan and Greller arguing on 18. And then Jordan ultimately saying, I'm going to play the shot. It's on me. It's always on the player. But today didn't feel like bogey-free. It didn't feel like a really good round. It didn't feel like he was out there dominating this particular course. And a 466 at Colonial is a really, really good score because this is not an easy golf course. So I think Spieth is in a perfect position if it was just Hostler and Stallings at the top, but it's not. So I think Spieth understands he's got his work cut out. I think if he wants to contend, he's got to go out tomorrow and shoot at least a 65.
Yeah, we'll look through that odds board because it is riddled with decent names here in just 1 second. A couple of guys who are not going to be playing the weekend, Coach, are 2 participants in the playoff last week at the PGA Championship. Will Zalatoris went 72-71. He gone. Justin Thomas 71-72, including a stretch of golf where he bogeyed 7, bogeyed 8, and triple bogeyed 9. Ending his and then he added one more bogey at 10, Coach, just for good measure to really ensure that he was not going to be around for the weekend.
I had a really good day of head-to-head matchups in my own personal board. That was the one play that I missed because I really felt like after struggling yesterday, because I called it either on the early edge, first cut, one of them, that JT, Will Zalatoris, and Amito Pereira would all struggle on day 1. I didn't know if that would happen through day 2, but it did for 2 of the 3. And I really felt like it's the hardest thing to do. It's why you don't see repeat winners very often on the PGA Tour. Even though Scheffler's won many times, none of those are back-to-back weeks. It's just too hard. You got to summon too much energy. I was there last week. I saw what JT had to go from what I would consider a big boy ballpark to this little thing. It draws on completely different parts of your game. And I think when you just win $2 million, your second major, it's very, very difficult to concentrate over the course of 4 or 5 days later. So it didn't surprise me that both missed the cut. It did surprise me how badly he played for those 4 holes. Yeah,
really, really bizarre stretch of holes for JT. But I imagine, as you mentioned, Coach, he'll take a peek at the bank account. He'll get over that one very, very quickly. Let's see if we can improve the bank accounts of our own and of those who are listening and watching on YouTube, because I want to look at the odds board and see if anything catches your interest. But first, we're going to take a quick break and hear a word from our partners. And we're back. All right, Coach. So here is the odds board via our friends over at Caesars Sportsbook. Scotty Scheffler, as mentioned, obviously the favorite to win the Charles Schwab Challenge, plus 175. Patrick Reed, 1 shot back. He is 8-1. And then you get Victor Hovland, who had himself a nice little Friday. He's 3 shots back at 10-1, along with Bo Hostler, who's tied for the lead. Scott Stallings, also 10-1. Jordan Spieth is lurking at 12. Anything at the top of the board catch your interest here, Coach?
Yeah, Patrick Reed really does at 8-1, because any farther back, I think it's going to be really, really hard to catch Scotty Scheffler. Sometimes it's not about betting on your guy. It's about betting on who's in front of them. And when it's only 1 or 2 players, okay. But when it's several players 4 shots back, then I take a little bit of pause at 10-1 or 12-1. So for me, it's either Patrick Reed or you put your money on Scotty Scheffler, who is essentially, in my mind, in the lead, because I don't think Scott Stallings and Bo Hostler will be there on Sunday. So for me, it's either Scheffler or it's Reed or it's nobody.
Davis Riley, very unlikely to win this golf tournament, Coach, but 22-1. He is T7, 3 back. I just want to tip the cap to Davis Riley. How good has he been?
Well, I've been betting on him for the last 3 or 4 weeks, and he's been teasing me every single week. At some point, he has got to break through, doesn't he, Rick? He's got to break through.
Yes.
He's getting too close. But his numbers are continuing to come down. They're not unbettable yet, but the days of him being plus 8,000 or plus 9,000, I think after the PGA Championship, those days are long gone. Maybe 22-1 is worth a sprinkle this week.
I have a sizable Riley over Daniel Berger matchup, which is 7 shots ahead, Coach. Like, come on, 7 shots over the weekend. Don't do this to me. I just want a nice, easy weekend.
It should have been over by today. Berger barely made the cut. Oh, right on the number, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah, the plus ones are getting in, which for the vast majority of the day, it looked like even might be the number. So, yeah, easily make that on the number.
Okay. Well, if you don't win a bet, especially a sizable one, with a 7-shot lead, that's just it's bad luck, and it just eats at you for weeks after that happens. Because it's happened to me several times. Not too often, but it happens. It happens to all of us, Rick. And right now, you do not feel confident, do you? You don't feel confident right now. Zero.
I'm already convincing myself, Berger's going to go out early on Saturday. He's got nothing to lose. He's going to fire some darts. I'm terrified.
By the way, real quick, because I want to make sure that people in the chat understand that we read their stuff and we hear you. They're talking about Justin Thomas not backing out today because Jay Onhand's putting pressure on the guys to play this week. I work for the PGA Tour. That absolutely is not true. All right? The players do what they want. JT is a PGA Tour guy. And if he says he's going to play in a tournament, I don't care if he wins the week before. He's not going to pull out because he understands he's a draw. And these players are draws, and they understand people buy tickets to watch them play. That's why he played this week.
Yeah, and especially this time of year, Coach. I mean, he's going to have his schedule. That's going to be his schedule because he's going to – I think he committed to Canada. He's obviously going to play the U.S. Open, so he probably takes off next week at the Memorial. Like, this is his schedule. He was going to play.
100%. It was going to be these 3 weeks, off a week. He almost always plays the week before a major, which would be the Canadian Open. I'll be working that week, by the way. And then he'll play in the U.S. Open. Then after that, who knows? But I know he's going to be overseas for a couple of weeks before the Open Championship as well.
Yeah, exciting time, exciting stretch of golf here. We'll be back after rounds 3 and 4 to break it all down as we always do. But for now, that right there is the coach. You can find him on Twitter at The Coach Rules, and you can find me at Rick Rungood. This has been The First Cut. We'll catch you next time.